we feel a moral obligation to state our position as regards the NSAS bandwagon, which suddenly resurfaced using Labour Party as a vehicle to ventilate accumulated aggression, which the present APC government, which we saw as clueless, who would think they can reap from where they did not sow or where they have not sown.
Not free and fair. The electoral officer has something in agenda before declaring that result. It was hasty declaration when the ground was not okay. It went as far as declaring the election result. Therefore, there are many evidences to show, hence the tribunal, the PDP have gone to the tribunal. We don't need to go further. But at the tribunal, we will see that there are...
Those who presided over the election were interested parties. Most of the people who were POs were obedient. If you go and look through the results, you will find out, because we've reviewed results also, why it took us time to come out to review results. It took us time to review results, and it took us time to speak to the press, because we made sure we had to get our facts clear. Some of them lent their hands to that greyhound. On the day of election, I served as a returning officer, a ward collection officer. I happened to stay very close to one of the POs that was talking to another one who called him on phone, asking him what he has to do because he was running riot with figures, was running out of ideas. These young men and women were simply, trying to get things done, to get those they felt were not supposed to go into government out. But unfortunately for them, in doing that, they messed up the entire thing. Because the electoral act says if you have one overvoting, polling unit is supposed to be cancelled. So when the guy wasn't balancing figures, he was calling another person. And I knew that it was not what we thought, that what we met, a tsunami, of course, but that tsunami, as it were, came from somewhere. That was why in our speech we said they used the Labour Party as a vehicle. We know that it is the cancellations were supposed to be done at those capital territory. This we do on behalf of all members of the People's Democratic Party who are of Southeast extraction, and our people who have since 1999 supported this party, the PDP, with their votes and solidarities from the inception of the Fourth Republic till date. As a people, the only party that enjoys tremendous support from the people of the Southeast in every national election has been the People's Democratic Party. And we feel a moral obligation. We feel a moral obligation to state our position as regards the NSAS bandwagon, which suddenly resurfaced using Labour Party as a vehicle to ventilate accumulated aggression, which the present APC government, which we saw as clueless, have mishandled, and coupled with the confusion occasioned by the same fate ticket of the APC in the last general election. Our major concern is the political developments in the Federal Capital Territory, where we now call home, and hence our resolve to declare as follows: that since 1999, the FCT had Senator Gwada Bekairat, Senator Isamaina, Senator Jubrin Wowo, who was there briefly for like 9 months, Senator Sidi Ale, before Senator Philip Tani Muaduda MFR, and of all these senators who have been elected to serve the people of FCT, none of them can stand shoulder to shoulder with Senator Philip Tani Muaduda MFR in terms of quality representation, attraction of dividends of democracy, stroke developmental projects, having compassion for constituents, and most of all, carrying all geopolitical zones of the country along, bearing in mind that FCT is a federating unit. While Senator Adoda has worked assiduously to ensure that the original inhabitants of FCT are not wiped out from the annals of the history of the federal capital, he has also ensured that he kept the interests of all the residents of FCT as they come from other geopolitical zones side by side with that of the indigenes, making him a nationalistic representative of the people of FCT in the Nigerian Senate, contrary to what used to be obtained from the kind of sectional or selective representation given to FCT by those who were there before him. As a geopolitical zone, Southeast is the highest zone with investment in the FCT. We see ourselves as major stakeholders with the indigenes who through providence has provided us the land upon which we, the federal government and other Nigerians have put all that is seen today in the Federal Capital Territory. Worried that the original inhabitants of FCT has not been treated fairly enough, and all the structures that would have made this possible, which require super legislative initiatives, have consistently been rebuffed by representatives of some zones who are yet to understand what stake shall be theirs if what Senator Philip Tanimu Adoda has been fighting to accomplish for the people of FCT becomes a reality. Contrary to the misconstrued views of some mandate misroads who would think they can reap from where they did not sow or where they have not sown, let it be known to all that the FCT Administrative Structure Establishment Bill, which distinguished Senator Philip Tanimu Adoda has vowed to get the National Assembly passed into law, could never have been a retirement plan for himself, but a constitutional matter which requires the nod of the National Assembly to be activated, and which would be the game changer as well as the key to the emancipation of the people of the Federal Capital Territory. We hereby state categorically that Senator Philip Tanimu Adoda has done very well in the Senate and has printed his name on the sands of time. In view of the above, such a man couldn't have actually been denied re-election, given that he has serious unfinished businesses which he has to get done for the people of the Federal Capital Territory. We therefore call at this juncture for a review of the senatorial election which took place on the 25th of February 2023, since we believe that a lot of things went wrong on that 25th election of 25th February 2023. We therefore earnestly ask Senator Philip Tanimu Adoda to explore all legal avenues and remedies that would answer the question, does a sane society change a result-oriented leadership or a result-oriented representation only to gamble with an unsure alternative maybe our suspicion that a lot of things went wrong on the 25th of February 2023 election would be justified by the right answers if given to the above question. The people of Southeast in FCT have immensely benefited from the representation of distinguished Senator Philip Aduda MFR. For sake of emphasis, the people of Southeast, resident in the Federal Capital Territory, have immensely benefited from the representation of distinguished Senator Philip Denimo Aduda MFR, and we stand with him as we are sure he would hearken to our voices, he will listen to us, and pursue the recovery of his stolen mandate in order to continue his fantastic work in the Federal Capital Territory. Long live the Southeast. Long live Senator Philip Tanem. On the day of election, we discovered that most of the people who were saddled with the responsibility of conducting that election were the same people who were on the streets. They were the same people who are students who were in Lekki, shot at Lekki. Some of them died. The ones who remained alive regrouped and now picked up Labour Party as a vehicle, came on for this election to cut their pound of flesh. We believe that a lot of this went wrong because those who presided over the election were interested parties. Most of the people who were POs were obedient. If you go and look through the results, you will find out, because we've reviewed results also, why it took us time to come out to review results. It took us time to review results, and it took us time to speak to the press, because we made sure we had to get our facts clear. Some of them lent their hands to that greyhound that emerged.
And when the results started uploading, you can bear witness of what happened in Abuja when the INEC said they were overvoting in Abuja and the election was cancelled. And I as a party chairman, we followed the election, we participated, and know how all the results came in. You see, there were a lot of overvoting in different polling units and in different wards. Even in Buhari Area Council, there were a lot of issues that the returning officer, the professor, said the Buhari election was cancelled. But to our greatest surprise, we later hear again that the result was entered. All those things are not done. So we need a total review of the results. And you can see our position as the people of FCT, people of Southeast in FCT. That our position is that he should follow the legal means to make sure he retrieve his mandate, and we're backing him wholeheartedly for that. And we know by grace of God, justice will be done, and he will get his mandate back.
Well, on the day of election, I served as a returning officer, a ward collection officer. I happened to stay very close to one of the POs that was talking to another one who called him on phone, asking him what he has to do because he was running riot with figures, was running out of ideas. These young men and women were simply, trying to get things done, to get those they felt were not supposed to go into government out. But unfortunately for them, in doing that, they messed up the entire thing. Because the electoral act says if you have one overvoting, polling unit is supposed to be cancelled. So when the guy wasn't balancing figures, he was calling another person. And I knew that it was not what we thought, that what we met, a tsunami, of course, but that tsunami, as it were, came from somewhere. That was why in our speech we said they used the Labour Party as a vehicle. We know that it is the cancellations were supposed to be done at that time they were done, according to the Electoral Act. So since they were done that time, the next place you cancel elections, if you don't cancel it at that time they were done, was supposed to be at the tribunal. However, when we heard that the elections had been, results have been cancelled here and there, and to also hear that the same cancelled elections were used to return somebody, you can now see that the free and fair, the fair election that my brother from Arise was asking never existed. Because you cannot put nothing on something on top of nothing and expect it to stand. If results have been cancelled, and then you see come back to the council result and use it to declare somebody, that means you have put something on top of nothing, and there's no way it is expected to stand. So that was why we are saying that our principal should explore all legal remedies, to recover his mandate.
If I think you are a Nigerian, you can look at the way the election results were uploaded, and you see the foul play and the crisis is generated everywhere in the country. And they will basically must point a hand at the where we have issue, and that is FCT. It may interest you to know that election of Gwarimpa was not collected in Gwarimpa, and election of Gariki Ward was not also collected in Gariki Ward. And you know what electoral law say about those things. Election of Use was not also collected in Use. It was collected outside the ward collection center where those elections supposed to be declared. So you are in picture, and if you check your history to also guide you and put you through in all these questions you are asking, and we owe you that obligation to also open your mind to understand what transpired on that election day. So all those places you are referring, INEC bastardized the whole thing, and it become very difficult for even the masses that stood in those collection centers to know what actually happened in those collection centers. Some of them went to backyard and some other places and do collection and come to the collection center and enter those things. And the electoral law is very clear in all those things. So by grace of God, all those things are going to be looked into, and we know what the law say about the act, and we followed it to the letter. By grace of God, we are going to do and get justice. My brother, if you are following FCT politics, you know we are in the tribunal, and nobody go to farm without hoe. Understand? You go farm prepared with cutlass and hoe, knowing fully that you are going there to either make heaps or so. By grace of God, as I said, all those technical issues have been handled, and our lawyers are working on all those things. Understand? By grace, I said it very clear. We will get our mandate back.
Thank you so much. But before then, let it be placed on record that election had a lot of challenges, a lot of lapses. In fact, you can, if you say that election never held, there won't be anything wrong about that. But we believe there shall be another election. There shall be another election. This one now may be coming from an angle I will not be ready to give out today for sake of, we need to protect the information we have. But I know that with what transpired in the entire election, the senatorial election of that day, that's where we are discussing. Senatorial election of that day, we shall meet them again. And God help them, we'll meet them again.
That election was not free and fair, owing to the fact that the electoral officer in charge of FCT was so in haste. That hasty declaration of the election shows that there was a bias in that particular election. If there was no bias, when some places was cancelled, the electoral officer wouldn't have go further to declare the election. So I want to chip in with my other leaders here that that election was not free and fair. The electoral officer has something in agenda before declaring that result. It was hasty declaration when the ground was not okay. It went as far as declaring the election result. Therefore, there are many evidences to show, hence the tribunal, the PDP have gone to the tribunal. We don't need to go further. But at the tribunal, we will see that there are many evidences that made that election not to be free and fair. Thank you.
Thank you very much.